Ah, it's nothing. It's only our neighbours. They're not dangerous.
Where'd he come from? Wasn't born with it.
They don't develop until you're 2 or 3 years old. Or older.
It looks like we're finally getting a better idea of what to expect from Outlander Season 8, and honestly, it's pretty exciting, especially since Blood of My Blood is already showing signs that it might be steering clear of one of the biggest criticisms the Outlander franchise has carried for over 3 decades. So, even though the original series is wrapping up with this final season, it doesn't look like fans are going to be left hanging when it comes to powerful drama and emotional storytelling. And let's be real, it's kind of comforting to know we still have some solid TV to sink into while we wait to see how it all ends. But first, let's dive into everything we know so far about Season 8 and where things might go, particularly with Brianna's story. Now, here's the thing. I'm genuinely excited to see what's in store for Brianna in Season 8, but at the same time, I'm honestly kind of scared that the writers are going to throw out the wrong part of her storyline. And by wrong, I mean the parts that really mattered in the books. It's pretty much a given at this point that the show won't match the books exactly. After all, Diana Gabaldon still has one more book to publish, and that won't even be out before the final season airs. So naturally, the TV show is going to have to make some adjustments. But when it comes to Brianna's arc specifically, it kind of feels like anything could happen. In Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone, which is the most recently published book, Brianna and Roger managed to settle their family back into the 18th century, just in time to brace for the Revolutionary War to hit North Carolina. And judging by the way Season 7 ended, it seems like the show's probably heading in that same direction. But here's where things get tricky. Some of the latest episodes are dropping hints that a major piece of Brianna's book storyline might get left out. One example? Season 7 completely skipped over a huge moment involving Brianna and Frank. It seemed like the setup was there. Brianna was shown looking through a book her adoptive father Frank Randall had written about Scotland's involvement in the American Revolution. But the camera didn't even show the book's title. It just showed Frank's face, and then out of nowhere, Brianna shifted focus to a letter from Roger she found in a desk. And that was it. Frank's book was never mentioned again. It felt like a setup that just got abandoned. And that's a real shame, because in the books, that discovery meant something. Brianna actually finds a letter from Frank hidden within his research. The letter warned her about the dangers she might face, specifically related to the Fraser family prophecy. That's what pushed her and Roger to go back in time. On top of that, Frank had even written about Jamie's death, predicting he'd die in the Battle of Kings Mountain. It almost felt like Frank was encouraging her to try to save Jamie. That extra layer of emotional complexity made the whole thing really meaningful. There's still a chance, of course, that Outlander Season 8 will come back around and bring all that full circle. After all, the relationship between Frank, Claire, Jamie, and Brianna has always been complicated. Frank and Jamie never met. They're from different centuries, but there was definitely a sense of rivalry or jealousy hanging over them. Brianna only found out who her biological father was after Frank died, so forming a bond with Jamie came with a bit of guilt. That's what made Frank's research and the clues he left behind so important. It was like his way of giving his blessing. And honestly, Brianna's story deserves a proper wrap-up. That means giving her some kind of peace when it comes to both of her fathers. If the show leaves that part out, it's going to feel like a missed opportunity. It would have been such a powerful moment for her to realize that Frank had wanted her to find Jamie and that he had been guiding her all along. It would also have helped Claire and Jamie see Frank in a different light, maybe even appreciate him in a way they hadn't before. What I'm really worried about, though, is that the show will end up focusing on the wrong part of Brianna's story. In the book, after she and Roger settle back in the 18th century, they have another baby, a little boy named Davy. And while that's sweet and all, I really hope the show doesn't make that the main focus of her final arc. Because even though Brianna is a great mom, her storyline has always been about way more than just motherhood. That's not to say Davy should be erased from the story entirely, but I'd much rather see the final season spend time on something like the Frank letter arc, instead of just another birth scene. It's important that Brianna's journey wraps up in a way that feels true to her development over the seasons, not just a mommy ending, but something that ties together all the themes of identity, legacy, and time that have defined her character. And besides, we could always just imagine that Davy arrives sometime later, off-screen. That would have worked just fine. Speaking of wrapping things up, let's talk about Blood of My Blood. The new spin-off is dropping its first season on August 8, 2025, and while it's still early days, it looks like it's taking some bold steps, including rewriting a long-standing piece of Outlander lore. According to the original story, Claire's parents, Henry and Julia Beauchamp, died in a car crash when Claire was just 5 years old. But now, in Blood of My Blood, that crash apparently sent them hurtling through time instead. So, surprise! Claire's parents are time travelers too, and they end up in 18th century Scotland just like their daughter did. Finding each other again, or just staying alive, isn't going to be easy for them. But this twist opens up a whole new chapter for the franchise, and it's giving fans something fresh to chew on while still tying back to the original story. The actors playing Julia and Henry, Hermione Corfield and Jeremy Irvine, have even started opening up in interviews about what to expect. In a recent chat with Entertainment Weekly, they talked about how the shift from World War I-era London to 18th century Scotland isn't just about a change in setting, it's a whole new kind of danger. Julia, in particular, is going to face something different and very personal. Corfield mentioned that in the 18th century, the threat isn't so much about bombs or war, but about male violence against women. That's something Claire dealt with too when she first arrived in the past, and now it looks like her mother is about to face similar challenges. And while that parallel makes sense in terms of storytelling, it also raises some concerns, because it touches on an issue Outlander has been criticized for since the beginning. The Outlander franchise has long faced criticism for its repeated use of sexual violence as a major plot device. This issue dates back to the original 1991 novel, which featured graphic scenes that many found difficult to justify. The Star's adaptation intensified these depictions, making sexual assault a recurring theme affecting nearly every major character. Claire, Brianna, Jamie, Fergus, and young Ian all experienced it. As a result, the show has developed a reputation for leaning too heavily on such trauma. With the upcoming prequel Blood of My Blood reportedly featuring more violence against women, some fans are concerned the pattern is continuing. While some defend the depictions as historically accurate, others question whether these scenes truly serve the story or simply aim to shock. The debate highlights the tension between portraying harsh realities and potentially normalizing or exploiting them. As Outlander enters its final season and prepares to launch its spin-off, the franchise faces a pivotal moment. Whether it chooses to handle these themes with greater care or sticks to its familiar formula will shape its legacy. Done thoughtfully, this next chapter could offer both a satisfying conclusion and a fresh, more sensitive direction for the series. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.